Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we thought we'd do the same formula as last time. Do a bit of a voiceover. Few reasons. One is because this drawing took me 5.5 hours today and I don't think anyone deserves to watch me do dot work for that long. I think that would be horrendous. And also, I can very casually have my cups of tea and not worry without spilling it on the drawing. Though that said, this is not the first time I've done this video, or the voiceover, and I forgot my tea. So, with that in mind, let's crack on. So, this video is once again a little image, little doodle image, dotty doodle image of Ego, one of the main characters from the game we're working on. And he was being a blast. We did the mumble system. We had him in the background, and absolutely adored drawing him. So yeah, he's come back. He wasn't finished, so we had to do our best to finish him off. Even though you'll see at the end of the video, there's a few little bits, and I'll probably talk about that throughout the video. Of a few things I want to finish and go back to a later date. Most of all, the bits like the arms, the limbs, and the non-dot work areas, I'm gonna go over and shade and pencil because they just feel a bit flat. And yeah, I feel like the dot work's kind of stealing the show a little bit. So I wanted to give the other parts of the character a little bit of a fair fighting chance. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. We'll see how we do. So yeah, if this is your first time here at the channel, welcome. And if you're an old friend of the channel, welcome back. It's good to see you again. And sorry, I don't know why I keep going the thing. It's been a long day of drawing, so I think I'm a little bit a bit melted, but it's not a problem. It's been a little bit of a labor of love today with this, and I've always enjoyed doing dot work, though it can be incredibly boring to watch. And a few people will probably find it quite boring to do themselves, but I really enjoy it. Oh, here we are. Here's when yep, I'm using a brown pen, not a black one. I don't realize for quite some time. And oh no, I did. I remember straight away. Oh, good job. Well done past me. Good job. I thought it was longer than that. But then again, this is a very sped up version. I think this is 600 speed or something. So yeah, I didn't think 5.5 hour video of this would have been a good idea. But yeah, we'll talk about a little bit of the dot work before I go in. Oh, what was I was just talking about? Oh yes, so if this is your first time here, what the idea of this character is going to be one of the characters from a print and play game that we're working on. We've been working on a game for years, somewhere around 7, 8 years, I think, so far, and it's changed dramatically over that time, but the characters have kind of stayed the same. More than anyone, this character, Vigo, he's a big, horrible, gnarly, beastie kind of chap, and he hasn't really changed much. I mean, every time I draw him, I add something different, and I experiment a lot, but I mean, he's always kind of been this big, hulking, crawling monster with this scythe-like appendage sticking out his back, and it's more to help him pull himself along rather than actually fighting. He's more of a tank sort of character, and his whole real kit is about exploring, foraging, and letting his homunculi run about and be mischievous. So this is what this little print and play is. So the idea is you are set in this world, and originally it was just going to be a little bit of the showing off the mechanics, and one specific mechanic was going to be foraging and how you find things and what you can do with it. So there's kind of like a recipe sheet, so everything you find you can store away and then build stuff. It's nothing, you know, that special, anything that hasn't been done before, but I sort of done it in a more macabre way. And I've been trying to make the foraging as exciting as possible. And what am I talking about? Super distracted watching myself draw. Keep looking and go, oh, I wouldn't have done it like that. Hmm. Um, so yeah, we're going to do a print and play, very basic. And I really like the idea, well, we really like the idea of making the game far more community led. So on our Patreon, if you pop over, you'll see loads of digital work and stuff that you can download for free. But also in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be putting the print and play out there. So you can jump on there, have a little play, get in touch with me and say, hey dude, played the game, it was crap. Or it's all right. Anything like that would be good actually. Any sort of criticism is really helpful. I find it all pretty constructive and helpful. So we're going to make the game, I think, that way. Because, I mean, you know, it's good to have feedback. And it's hard to know if you're going in the right direction or not, if it's just, yourself or myself and my partner, doing these little videos and talking about the game and stuff. So that's our plan anyway. So yeah, we're the whole idea is you have a little pack of cards, currently a little pack of just poker cards, and sort of made it as simplistic as possible. And I think that was really crucial into the game because it was getting to a point where I was riffing ideas and my partner would say, that's a really good idea, but you had that years ago and you've forgotten and you like rediscovered the same idea, which happens a lot after so long of doing the same sort of world, and I forget what's been written down and what hasn't. So we've kind of gone back to basics. So this is going to be the character that you play with, and the whole idea is you're going off and foraging as much stuff as you can so you can make your homunculi, your little friends that help you in your world. It's kind of like a prerequisite to the big game that we're working on in the background, very, very slowly. So yeah, we brought it down as simple as possible, and using a deck of cards, we've got the suits and different numbers, and I've made it up, and I don't know, there was something about actually making it so simple and bringing it back to the basics. It really, I don't know, there was like a new spur of energy about it, and it felt right. So we're going to do that, and that will be the first thing that goes on the print and play. And then we'll slowly work and keep adding more stuff and changing things and balancing. And I think this is a far more, interactive way of making a game and far more fun, other than me just sat in my shed all day, staring at the ceiling. It'd be good to get other people involved in making it. So yeah, I think that's kind of it for now about the game. But yeah, that's kind of a little look into what we're doing. Sorry, I'm really distracted. Doo-doo-doo. So, dot work. We could talk a little bit about dot work in general, couldn't we? So, whenever I'm doing the dot work, all I'm imagining is if I was shading with a pencil. That's all I'm doing. And because of the dot work, and I'm working with such a small pen, I think, yeah, it's 003. I can see that. I can see my hand. It's teeny tiny. It's like a biro. And you can use a biro. You don't need to use a micron at all. It's just, I just like these pens because they just flow really well. Although I think this pen sort of comes to the end of his days because I have to jump and grab another one at some point because I realize I'm, double dotting a lot of the time. And I thought, what's going on? So yeah, they do run out fairly quick. I don't think they have much of a life in them, if I'm honest, but they do have a really nice look to them, especially the browner pens. What's it called? Can't remember the name of them, the color, but yeah, they're good, but you don't need to use them. You can do dot work with anything really, even pencils. But yeah, when I'm doing it, I'm just sort of figuring out where the shadows are. Again, I'm using the mumble system here, and I'm making it up. It's more fun. So I tend to just kind of experiment, and you'll see me throughout the video sort of changing what I'm doing and just having a look and seeing, if it makes sense. And if it doesn't, then luckily with the dot work, you just keep adding, and the more you add, the more depth you give, and you can't really go wrong with dot work. And if you're worried about giving it a go, I would say grab a pen, a bit of paper, and have some fun. It takes a long time, but I think the results are spectacular. I think they're really cool, and it's just a type of drawing that really speaks to me because I'm inordinately boring, and the tedium is excellent. Yeah, but yeah, give it a go. But I got a little bit of advice, not massive amounts, but any sort of like thick black lines that I've drawn, sort of just to lay down my little illustration. I build up from it, and just like if you were shading with a pencil, you're just coming away from it. So you go almost completely, so the dots are almost touching each other, and then you slowly come away. But there's loads of ways you can do it. You can kind of just draw little lines with the dots, just so you know where you're going. Or you can kind of just riff it, like I'm doing. Yeah, just make it up. It's more fun. And then any sort of light source or any sort of lines in general, I always put a few dots, even if it's going to be bright light, because otherwise it feels really bland. And you probably have seen it just before I did that little bit then. It just feels completely out of place. So yeah, be brave when you're doing dot work and just throw them everywhere. It's way more fun. Right. Also, another little bit of advice if you're doing dot work, and it sounds really, really obvious, but before you start doing any sort of dot work, I would rub out any sort of pencil lines prior to it, because when you're doing the dotting, it's almost like you're not really drawing onto the paper. It's almost like you're just placing the ink on top of it. So if you do any rubbing, it will come off really quick. And I always clean the rubber off, and you'll see me later on when I start doing a bit more rubbing out towards the end. I will rub the rubber against a clean piece of paper just to clean it off, and then I'll do that every single time, and I'll do little circles because I think doing straight line motions with the rubber is a really good way of smudging everything, which I've done lots. I'm surprised I didn't do it today. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think these are kind of my tips really for dot work. I don't have a lot of it other than go have fun and try it, and don't worry about messing up. You won't. I think it looks far trickier than it actually is. And I think a lot of people don't do it because they're worried about the amount of time you put into it. But stick some music on in the background or a good film and get dotting. It's good for you. Right, so for the limbs and everything else that isn't fabric, I'm just doing my sketchy little, drawing style, lots of details, trying to get rid of all that negative space. We don't need negativity. And oh, here we are. So this is where I've clearly forgotten my own rule, and I've gone over everywhere, and I'm trying to do as light as possible, just to get rid of all that pencil line. But I think I learned from that mistake early on, and then from now on, I think I rub out before I start doing the dot work. I'll have to wait and see, really. Everything gets a nice outline in this one because obviously the light went weird then. Oh, creepy. Yeah, sorry, the lighting was a real tricky one actually, because I kept moving around, I kept leaving the drawing and coming back, and then I was moving the camera, I was moving the light, so it was a real pain actually, because when my partner has to go and edit all these little videos for me, very kind of her. Obviously she has to try and get all the light just right, which is really tricky if I keep changing the light, So if you're watching this, sorry. But yeah, I don't know what I was doing then. I think at some point I start making up again, like what I'm drawing, like limbs and stuff, and there's that inner me saying, "Oh, this would be a great idea. Let's do it. We don't need a pencil. We don't need any lines or anything to go off from. We just make it up." But I've done this in the past, and I've ruined an okay drawing with just my silliness. So I'm glad it didn't go bad this time, because sometimes it does. Right, what are we doing now? We're doing a cloak. So yeah, the bits where I know that needs to be really dark shade, I'm sort of doing a more sort of comic book-esque, sharp cuts of shadow. And it just, not only does it kind of fit with the character of being like sharp and nasty, but it has, it's really fun to then do the dot work after on top of it and around it. I like the sharp lines. I think they, I mean, they're not particularly organic, but that's the way I like doing it, and it looks nice. So I do it. So yeah, can't remember if I said this already, but I'll go over it, all the limbs and stuff in pencil. I think I already said that, right? I'm sure I did. This little bit in the middle, what I'm doing now, I think I'll come back to it several times because it just doesn't look right to me. It just needs to be darker. And like I said, once I've, you know, once this is all finished and maybe tomorrow my eyes aren't seeing dots, I will go back and actually I'll add a little bit more coverage with the dots everywhere just to bring it, give it a little bit more. I think, oh, here we are. This is me riffing, making it up as I go along, rather than just spending 6 seconds writing, doing a pencil drawing first. But yeah, living on the edge. But fortunately, it didn't go too bad. And that claw, it was going to be more of a hand, but I don't know. I kind of like this idea of this like mutated, like fishing hook like hand limb, and I just thought it was really cool and creepy. And I'll definitely put that as sort of an ability or a move in the game itself, because it's nice to have the art that kind of creates the game rather than the other way around. And the nice little mistakes that make something special and different. Yeah. So yeah, I can see it's already starting to, yeah, the limbs sort of mix in with one another a little bit too much. But yeah, once we've done a little bit of pencil, I think we'll save that a little bit. Yeah, so you'll see after I do these really dark inky bits, when I'm working the dots around it, I'll really make the dot work quite thick. So here on the side, it's really thick, and then as I'm coming away from that shadow, I'll loosen up a little bit. And I try to imagine that the light's on the left side the whole way through. So, though I think at some point my shading with the dot work just goes bizarre, but I think it was because I was having more fun just playing with it and experimenting. Yeah. Oh, how long left? Oh my goodness, we got a lot longer left for me to ramble on. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear. What can we talk about? What else can we talk about? I don't know. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Oh, right. So yeah, so the jaw and the mandibles and stuff. But it was actually my partner that said that it's just a little bit too much going on there, too much white, and I don't know. It kind of felt like this jaw would be really, really coming out of the mouth. It had so much, lack of shadow. Again, lack of pencil work, so it makes a big difference. But yeah, just removing some of the bits and being brave, just even though I, spend a lot of time doing these little bits, sometimes when it's like a horror kind of monstery sort of stuff, less is more, you know. I think so anyway. Yeah. So the eyes, I couldn't figure out if I wanted to darken the eyes or, do like pupils and, do more details. But I think, again, less is more, and it's a mask. And wanted to keep that, that shine, that porcelain, porcelain kind of look on the face itself. So yeah, nice and clean and creepy. Yeah, and then yeah, I'm just gonna continue to build up all the layers of dot work. Yeah. What else can I talk about? Oh my, what can I talk about? I had 5 cups of tea during the making of these videos. What else I have? Leftover Chinese food, which was delicious. Oh, fantastic. What else? Also, I'm a little bit distracted because the desk I'm doing this on now, there's a really grumpy little statue of a frog wearing a party hat and is just staring at me. Right, back to the video. So So yeah, we're gonna continue to just keep darkening bits and yeah, just trying to make it look more realistic, more real. What else can we talk about? Oh, we've got, well, for the print and play, I was thinking about just having the main character and on the same sheet of paper, which I think realistically it's A4, but it probably have to be maybe an A4 and 2/3 of another one horizontal, so like attached to it on the side. That makes sense. And that will have all the rules. It will have all the recipes and everything you make. It will have all the things you can gather and the gathering system and all that stuff. So it's all to hand. You know, I don't hate, but like playing board games that have huge footprints on the desk or the table. I think it's really exciting, but at the same time, I I don't know when it's like really messy like that. It just throws me off. I think a little bit. So like the bigger games that, even though I adore, the ones that take up 3 foot by 3 foot space, and our table's really small, so we end up having to do a lot of board games on the floor, which is not ideal. Because as soon as we're on the floor, our dog seems to think that is an invitation to come and play as well, which, you know, it's just not the case. He's terrible at board games as well, on the count that he doesn't have, like, thumbs. Cool. Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, I'm glad that we did that. We sped this up to 600 times or 600 speed or wherever it was, because there's so much of this reworking all the way through. I think it would be quite tiresome otherwise. Cool. Hmm. See, this is when, in this sort of video, I think maybe we should have done music over the top rather than me just rambling on. Let me know in the comments if you think, it would be easier if it was just a nice bit of music in the background with the drawing rather than me rabbiting on, adding too many R's into every single word. Yeah, let me know. Very cool. What else can I say? Yeah, so I can't really explain the foraging system without it sounding kind of basic. I mean, it is basic, but it's a lot about choice of dice. So you roll your big handful of dice, and I think any game that allows you just to throw too many dice all at once is just exciting. It's really tactile, and I really enjoy that. And then with all these dice, all the results will have different things you can do with all the abilities and stuff like that. And yeah, I just think it's exciting. I can't remember what I was talking about, but yeah, the foraging, professionalism knows no bounds. But yeah, throw loads of dice, choose what you're gonna do, and then afterwards you have to find a safe place to construct everything. So you'll be finding things like sinew, small bones, large bones. What else will you be finding? What else will you finding? Teeth. Um, can't remember. I made a whole list. I can't remember any of them. But yeah, that will be the next video as well, if unless I do like show the pencil version of this. But yeah, it'll be all the assets, which I don't think I'll be doing every single item just yet. Once a print and play is out there, and then I can slowly start adding things to it, and I think that's more fun, rather than, because otherwise I'll wait and wait and wait, and I won't want to put it on there because I'll be worried about getting it just right. I need to, it's that sort of thing. You need to break away from that. Just get what you can on there that makes the game work, and then don't worry about the art. It will come later on. But I'm one of those people that thinks that, the art has to be perfect before anything else can happen. But I think that limits, creativity sometimes, because you can get really stuck on that sort of stuff. I know I certainly can. So yeah, I'm trying to learn from the mumble system and where I can just kind of come back, reflect, think about it, be kind, and then, just do what I need to do. So yeah, that's the plan. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna have. We're gonna try and limit all the cards as possible. Use just a deck of poker cards if you got one, handy. Throw that out and have all the rules and how it works with the poker deck. And then as we're going along, as I balance and tune and make the cards of the locations where you're going to be exploring. Um, yeah, the deck of cards will work nicely. Actually, it sounds really weird, but yeah, once if any of you do go and play the test version, print to play version, what's the word of it? Prototype. That's not quite right. But yeah, the version of that I'll be doing first. Some good English. But until then, yeah, we'll just make it up. That's kind of the ethos of this channel. Just make it up. Oh, I'm going back to this little bit again. Yeah. What I have been finding really, really interesting and useful into making my own little world and trying to imagine the board game as more real and more coming to life. I've been watching for a few, was it a few weeks? It must be over a month now. I've been watching one channel called Playtest, and they've been playing this game called Kingdom Death Monster. And if you haven't seen the videos from Playtest, I would highly suggest you go over and watch the Kingdom Death sort of story that's being produced now, because it's excellent and it's like become a bit of a comfort sort of video. So the the production's incredible and the voiceover is awesome, and if you like board games and you like sort of board games with, it's just, I think this is the way that is being produced is quite special. So yeah, definitely go and check it out. And so things like that have really helped me along the way. And there's been a few channels in the past and over the few years playing different games that have really helped me sort of imagine my game or our game as more of a story. And you can really play with the macabre and all the creepy stuff, and it can still be entertaining and fun and stuff, and it doesn't need to be too serious. Yeah, I think that was almost a lucid thought. Right, what are we doing now? Or add a few more details. I. The only reason I added this is because I didn't want to do any dot work at this time, so I just thought I'm going to do a rope with loads of like stuff hanging from it. So it's going to be a few bones and teeth and things like that, because it makes sense if the image actually shows what you get in the game. The bell was from an old version of the game where you were sort of trapped on the half ship, and you would be covered in bells on your attire, your shrouds, garbs, and so if you got too far away from the half ship, you'd be in serious danger. So you'd have to stay close. And that was kind of the idea of it. And I thought that was quite creepy and horrible, and I wanted to put it back on there, so more of like a little bit of a tribute to an old idea. Oh, I'm talking really fast because I'm anxious about keeping entertaining information coming out of my gob, but it's not working very well. But yeah, just wanted to put lots of details on this rope and just break up the sort of drawing itself. And it's always fun to draw rope because you just make it up, and it's really fun. Another bit of cloth with a few stitches. Yeah, I like the idea of stitches on cloth and rags and ribbon, and it just looks really cool. And it may not make that much sense, but this is the creature's knee I was doing before I started darkening this bit. So yeah, he's kind of hunched over, kind of perched. But yeah, I think one thing I did notice after I finished the drawing, almost finished the drawing, is that it needs a lot more dark shadow areas. So when I come back to it, maybe tomorrow, I'll be adding a few more bits and pieces around just to bring it a bit more to life. And yeah, bringing more shade and shadow and being a little bit more hidden. Yeah. What am I doing now? Oh, yeah. I think this is when I actually remembered to do the rubbing out before I started to do the dot work, because I was definitely going to make I was definitely going to butcher it if I didn't remember that. I'd have to redraw all the dots, so good job past me. Yeah, we're learning. We're getting there. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so this is the creature's need down below where I was just working on. I don't think it's super clear, but I think the pencil will help. I keep going on about this pencil thing. I think it's my go-to sort of, not excuse, but don't worry, I'll fix it, just in case anyone's worried. But I don't think any of you are they? No, it's just me. Cool. Yeah, so right at the tip of this bit of cloth that's hanging, really wanted to make it dark and need to kind of go over all the edges of all the shadow bits of the cloak, all the rags, and just really add that sort of dark detail, because I think that's where it gives you can get the most detail, which is weird. It's a weird thing to say. I think it makes sense in my head, but yeah, sometimes, the lack of detail, the more shadows and stuff just add the most pop. Always makes me think of like Batman comics or Spawn or something like that. You know, yeah. I think it was this point I was like, oh, I gotta get there. I gotta do this. I gotta finish it. I didn't want to leave it for another day, and we really wanted to put out a video today. And oh, wanted to say about the last video, the mumble system. It's got like 9,500 views. So thank you everyone, and thank you so much for everyone that hyped it and watched the video. Thank you so much. Makes such a difference. I'm not even entirely sure what hype means, because I'm a bit of a old man, and these sort of things I don't really understand. But you know what? Thanks for the hype. Love some more. Not sure what it does, but I do like it. So yeah, thank you so much for getting our video seen by so many people. So yeah, each and every one of you. And I hope you really enjoyed it. We haven't had a dislike yet. We've had a few hundred likes, so I think statistically we're doing pretty well. We normally get 1 or 2 dislikes, but always kind of makes us laugh, if we're honest. We always wonder why. Probably the incessant rambling of me, so I do wonder. Maybe I'll try a video with just nice music in the future. I always see like drawing videos with zero commentary. Maybe that's a good thing. Yeah. I shall reflect on this. Right, and now we're doing a little bag. Oh, no, we'll go back to the rope. Just adding lots of little details and trying to make it as higgledy-piggledy as possible and not really have any rhyme or reason, just sort of rough and everything I want to look like it's homemade, and this character's a bit of a monstrosity, so I don't think he's going to worry too much about having things aesthetically pleasing, So yeah. I think we're just over halfway now. Hopefully a bit more than that. Yeah, it's just the lower leg now and the little bit of the bag and a few shadows. And yeah, we're well on the way of finishing. Oh no, we've got like 10 more minutes. I don't know what I'm talking about. Clearly I wasn't the one to drew it. Or lie. Oh yeah, it's loads left. Oops. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting the game out there in a little print and play, because I really want to know what people think of the world, and even though it won't be a huge amount of art to start with other than this handsome chap, and probably the things that you gather, so sticks and bones and all these things. But yeah, it'd be really cool to see what people think and sort of make it up as we go along and add more stuff to it. So the lines I did just below, curving around sort of where the thigh is, I just wanted an idea of where I wanted the dot work to sort of form. And I was also thinking at this point, because it's sort of his back left leg, and sort of the front of his body would be taking most of the light from the left, it needed a lot more shadows and shades and stuff like that. So I think at this point I'm thinking it needs more, it needs more mystery in the unknown bits. No, I think so anyway. But who knows? I don't really know what I'm talking about making episodes go along. But yeah, I just wanted sort of the outline. And when I had the outline, it feels far more manageable than just kind of doing a little bit at a time. Yeah, so this is, I just got the sticks to do and this cloak bit and then his gross little foot. And there we are, rock and roll. So yeah, it wouldn't be a drawing of one of these characters from this world, from the wastes, without, a little bundle of sticks. I don't know why, I've always liked that sort of visual. In fact, there was a game called, what was it called? Ashen. And there was these sort of enemies running around, and one of them had like a couple of bags on this like lower back, and had loads of sticks on it, like just a bundle of sticks. And do you know what? Every now and again, I think about that character, and I think, I love the visual. This. If you're running around with the sticks, you'll be ready to make a fire or build something, or even fuel the forge, or whatever it could be, or even a trap. You can do. I just like the idea of sticks, and that certainly is part of the game as well. Sticks and wood and things you can use as fuel in the half ship, and as well as when you're by yourself going around the wastes. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I think this is when I start to think, right, I need far more shadow and shade. I start working on it. A little bit backwards at this point, yeah, so I've already planned where that it's going. Luckily, I went for the black pen, not the brown pen, so getting there. And yeah, I think it needs a little bit more of this, which I will add. I'm not sure where, but maybe underneath the rope or the back of his garb, right at the back, that little bit to the right now. So yeah, when I come back to it, I will be adding a lot more, because even though I'm going to go over some of the dot work, I think a little bit less is more, Yeah. So again, the tried and tested method of, if you're not sure where to put creases of robes and stuff like that, make it up. It's fine. No one's going to check. Yeah. It's so weird watching a video being made after making it. Ugh, it's really trippy. So yeah, I nearly remembered at the right time to take away all the extra lines before actually doing the dot work. That's not bad though. I am learning. Slowly, but surely. I wish I had a cup of tea now. Or a coffee. Oh, actually a hot chocolate. I haven't had hot chocolate in weeks. Yep. My plan for the evening is sorted. I know. It's a thrilling life I lead. So yeah, a bit more dot work. And again, there's a lot of it I'm just experimenting. I'm thinking, what can I do with, like, I've drawn this really thin line where the stitching, it sort of comes together. And I was thinking, as I was going through it, I was wondering how much lines I could add. Could I have done the dots as the line itself, which would felt maybe a little bit more organic and less hard and harsh, but it was absolutely fine. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're coming nearly to the end of the video. Oh, maybe not. I'm looking at a timer, but maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Oh, I'm definitely looking at it wrong. He hasn't even started the foot yet. Right. Be quiet. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we're coming up to the end, but we've got a little bit left to do. Oh, thank you. Very informative. And this was just a huge section. I was really worried about this section, actually, because I wasn't really sure how to add the creases, but I just went for it. And really can't go too wrong, even though it should be kind of like stress marks from the rope itself on the right, and maybe I will add a few more creases and things like that. But I think here I was just kind of being brave and kind of just doing what I wanted, and I think it turned out okay. So at one point I started doing the creases from the other way and just mix and matching really and just playing around. Because I think that's a really good strong point with dot work. If you just start doing dots and you're not entirely sure, you can just add a few more. Oh, it's a really jarring angle. I'm so sorry. Yeah. And I think with the negative space in the middle, with the little bit of, when you're doing the dot work, if you do the dot work, uh, do the dot work, um, just throw a couple in the middle. It it feels really messy, but it just feels more real. You know, it feels, I'm going to keep saying this word, organic, but it does. It feels less formal, and a little bit of mess is good, I think. So yeah, this was just an experimentation bit, and I will have to go back over it because I'm not fully happy with it. Not awful. It's just not right in my head. But I have been looking at this image for a long time today, and maybe that's why I'm being a little bit more critical than usual. Oh, I need to go back to the mumble system. Be kind. Be kind to the image. Cool. Sorry. Oh. Actually, if we have another video of this sort of length, maybe it'd be better to do in a two-parter. My partner did tell me this, and I was like, no, just, nah, I can rock out 45 minutes of ramble, easy peasy. I was wrong. It's a long video. It's a long video to ramble, especially when you're not particularly interested in the other person. It's very difficult then. Yeah. I think this bit is one of the bits I have to go back over and just have a little play with and see what else I can add. Because I think it's missing a little bit, but I think it just means a bit more shadows, that's all, and nice inky bits. Inky bits. And this was sort of the point where I was like, oh, home stretch. I remember thinking, God, I need to do this. I need to finish this little bit. I finish it, have a cup of tea, and chill out for a little bit. And this was really exciting actually, because sometimes I get to the point of like when I'm drawing a bigger image, and this is kind of as big as I get. I'll be really worried about drawing my little detailed, sketchy sort of style. But after doing the dot work, it felt really easy. It's like, when you pick up something really heavy and you hold it for a long, long time, and then you pick up something much lighter, and that feels so much lighter than it usually is. What am I talking about? It's kind of like that, Does that make sense? Probably not. I'm not even sure if it made sense in my head. But yeah. So these bits with the shadow meets shadow, and then just filling in the gap. It needs a bit more dot work, but I think I'm on this sort of the right place. Yeah, it just needs a lot more shadow, I think. Yeah, and I think he's going to look really cool on sort of the character card. And you know what? I'm at this point, even without finishing entirely, I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy how it turned out, and I think he'd do all right in the real game. I don't think there's any reason to worry about him. I think he'll be all right. I can hear my dog outside the door. He's sniffing. Sorry if you can hear him sniffing away. Clearly thinks I have treats in here. I do not. But he may still have to have treats at some point because he's a very good boy. And actually went for a nice walk with him today, and it was really marshlands and really wet in awful weather. But I was 10 minutes into the walk before I started thinking about, if Vigo was here, where would he go? And sort of, if he got to a marshland, and how that would affect his movement and stuff. And like, or would there be like an effigy or a talisman or some sort of equipment or ability that would help him move through marshlands, and or would he regain something through it? Like maybe if he was like a preferred terrain, would he gain compass mentis back, which is like which is kind of like the mental armor. So if you fail a success in this game currently, you lose some compass mentis, and yeah, it just works as your sort of your mind's armor. So for like psychological stuff and things like that. All sounds really bizarre, doesn't it? This foot, it's gross. There's nothing else I can really say about it. It's kind of gross when I was drawing it. I was giggling about it the whole time. That's about it. And yeah, you know what? We're probably coming to the end of the video, aren't we? So I just I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's supported us. It's been 6 months or so, and thank you for everyone. All the kind comments, all the likes, all the shares, and yeah, just building a lovely little community, and everyone's just really nice, and it's nice to have a nice bit of the internet, and just sharing my little journey making this game, and it's always been a bit of a labour of love, even though it's been a pain in the arse for some of it. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and yeah, thank you to everyone that supports the channel, and thank you so much to we've got a new patron as well, so thank you so much to our newest Old Druid Biscuit Party patron. Hey, got it just right. Is the camera moving? Oh yeah, yeah, the camera side forward at one point, and I didn't notice for ages. So yeah. Oh, let's go back. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess we're finished. Right. Well, you all take care and be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.